Missing and losing fish, very cringe. I reckon you can do better. In fact, I know you can do better, and I'm here to help you. Spearfishing doesn't have to be difficult, and we don't have to injure fish. We can make a conscious decision to do better and dive safer. Over the past 8 months, I have missed one fish and lost none. Perhaps the closest I ever came during that time was the kingfish I'm going to show you here today, where we're going to be talking about line management and having a plan. Communicating that plan with your dive buddy so they know what's going on. I see my dad over by the rocks, yelling out and waving his arms. We'd only been in the water a short while, but gone our separate ways. I start swimming at full speed, the splashing attracting everybody's favourite, the yellowtail kingfish. And we got some beautiful ones right here. Great size, great abundance. I'm seeing this from the surface, it's unbelievable. So I stick my head up and try and ascertain what my dad's up to.
What's up?
Fortunately, it is good news, so I turn my attention back to the kingfish, which I'm a lot more interested in at this point. I haven't been in the water for very long at all. I'm not really ready to take on one of these fish, I don't feel. My dad's all the way over there. If I shoot one, I at least want to have someone there with me if it's possible. So I head down, looking around, scanning. I get to the bottom, have a bit of a try, but I decide I'm not going to shoot one of these fish unless it's really asking for it. In spearfishing, the more you force something, the more dangerous it gets, and the less likely it is to actually work. After checking out the kingfish, I head into the shallows, giving my dad the gun to have a play around trying to get one of the snappers. Regrettably, this was the only gun that I brought here today. I mean rubber band fish harvesting force multiplier, didn't mean to say gun there. Don't ban me. After a little while trying for snapper, I go up to my dad and I'm like, "Yo G, I know where some big fish are, do you want to see some big fish? I'll give you the gun, you can even shoot one." And he's like, "I'm not sure about shooting one, but I'll come along and you can have a crack." I get down to the bottom, I'm waiting for my opportunity. I don't see them initially, just carway going around. I'm waiting, I head down to the bottom, this is the exact same spot I seen them before, and then I look to my right, and oh my gosh, right there. Huge kingfish. Unbelievable. I'm on the bottom, I'm calm, I'm relaxed, this fish is coming in, it's going away, but I know it's going to come in closer. I'm waiting for that golden opportunity where that fish is right there in front of me, pull the trigger, smack bam, in the head. But it's not a great shot. It was almost a great shot. It was almost in the brain, almost in the spine, almost a clean, easy fight. But that's all the difference it takes. A couple centimeters and you've got a potential disaster on your hands if you don't manage it right. Prior to shooting this fish, I had neglected to mention to my dad what the plan actually is and what you're meant to do. So he swam over with the float boat and a bunch of float line, and at this moment it's all getting tangled up pretty much. He even tries to grab onto the shooting line, helping me to bring this fish to the surface. It seemed like a great idea, I can't fault him for it, but it was not ideal, and I can see at this point the fish is starting to get off. That wound is really starting to tear up quite badly. This is the only gun that we have. There is no possibility for a second shot, and I'm really starting to panic.
Just focus on the lines, get me out the lines.
I know we gotta close this out soon or risk losing this fish forever. But at the same time, you can't go too hard or it's just gonna rip. Getting entangled or caught up in your line is absolutely necessary to avoid and can kill you. Let's imagine you're fighting this kingfish and you get wrapped up in the line, and then a shark comes and swims to the bottom with your kingfish. What then? Hope you have your knife on you, because if not, you're f***ed. The kingfish is starting to tire out a bit. I'm able to get the occasional hand to it. It's still got a lot of energy. I know if I hold on to it too hard and let the fish just fight against that flopper, it's coming through the fish and I'm losing it. This was a serious nail biter, this one. I was almost expecting at any moment just to see the shaft pop out and the fish swim off, never to be seen again. But how could it end up like this? Only a couple minutes ago was on the bottom with a golden opportunity right in front of me. And yet it seems squandered. It seems like this fish is basically lost at this point. What went wrong? Planning. If I had planned this out better, I could already have this fish by now. Bring another gun with you. Give your dive buddy a plan. Don't just wing it and expect things to work out, because often they're not going to work out. Most times they're not going to work out. So don't expect to get lucky. Plan to be unlucky. I say that, but I admit that I was extremely lucky this time. And it is basically a miracle that we didn't have a shark turn up. Middle of summer in the Hauraki Gulf can be as feisty as it gets. Very fortunate not to have any bronze whalers rock up this time. If I had had a fight like this in the spot from the previous episode, I would have no fish to speak of. Now that the fish is in my arms with a knife in its brain, I can breathe a sigh of relief. Situations like this get you absolutely full of adrenaline. It can be quite hard to have any level of dexterity in moments like this. Me and my dad, if we're absolutely frothing, expecting at any moment to have to fight off a shark, expecting to see that kingfish swim off. Yeah, it was pretty full on. Getting kingfish never gets old, but the best way to experience it is with other people.
Got a new shaft after that.
That was a fucking good fight.
You probably saw that whole thing happen, eh?
Yeah, because then I saw the kings come through, then I looked over, big flash with a spear through it, and I thought, fucking nice.
At the end of the day, we got the fish, but I can't be too proud about this one. A lot went in our favour. If there were a couple of sharks, or the shot was slightly worse, it may have been a very different story at the end of the day. There's always something to be learned. Even when you get the fish, what you may consider a win, there's always something that you can learn from it. It's important to look to your mistakes, because that's where the most room for improvement is. I want the takeaway for this video to be planning and communicating with your dive buddy. Don't expect things to go right. Expect things to go wrong and plan around that, and you'll have a much better outcome in the end. Don't rely on getting lucky, because often you're not going to be lucky. I don't care how lucky you think you are. No one's lucky all the time, and it catches up to you eventually.